welcome to my journey. It's beautiful out here today. Now, I'm going to warn you, there's a lot of traffic because I'm out here early. And so I'm out here in the going to work, going to school time frame. So there's going to be a lot of work trucks going through. I've already had some since I got sitting out here. But if I want to get my video up early, I got to get out here early. So that's just one of the things we'll have to fight. But you are here for a Frugal Friday. When we get through a Frugal Friday, we'll chat a little bit. In case you're only here for the frugal tips, you can just skip on out through there. Even though I'd like you to just hang around and have a little chit chat with me. We got our coffee. So you go get your coffee or your tea or your smoothie, your protein drink, whatever it is you drink in the morning. You know, I'm all up on the coffee. That is not that's a coffee pod. And the first thing in the mornings, I like coffee pods. So, Frugal Fridays are all about telling you the things that I did the previous week that I consider frugal. Now, they're not earth-shattering. They're not like big old money savings, but we all know the little things add up. Plus, doing the little things keeps you in the mindset of being frugal. So when something big comes up, you'll already have that frame of mind of, oh, well, I need to do it this way because that's the way that saves more money, or that is best for, I don't know, whatever. think of what's best. That sounded dumb. But at first I kept a list just on a piece of paper. And then I'm like, no, that's the perfect use for my little books that I got from Tony. So I've been keeping it in there on the bar, counter, island. I never know what to call that thing. With the pen. So as I do something during the day, I can write it down. And then as I cook my meals, I can write them down. That way I can go back and put them in my notebook. This notebook, I can go back and scroll. Well, I can scroll and see my meals on there too, but I want my meals in one place. I don't want to have to thumb through a whole bunch of, which I should start a frugal, I'm going to do that too. I have that owl notebook that's got different sections just because the pages are outlined in different colors. I think I'll pick a different section and keep a list of all my frugal things that I do. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I'm keeping a list of my meals, so if I'm getting stumped or I can't think of nothing, I can go back and see what I made and think, oh, well, we hadn't had that in a long time, you know. I wish over the years I had been keeping all my meals, but when I fill up a notebook, I just toss it away. Whatever's in it goes with it, notes, whatever. So if it's something I need to keep, I need to rip it out. But I'm going to start doing that. Anyway, did I say at the end we'll chit-chat? I can't remember what I said. That's pretty bad. We'll chit-chat at the end, so if you don't want to see that, you don't have to, but you can. I mean, come on, join us. Get your coffee or whatever it is you drink. You know I got my coffee. And we'll just talk about some things. Not much, but we'll talk. So anyway, let's jump on into things that I did this past week that I consider frugal. And this is not in any order. When we get to my book, that's in order, but it really don't matter if it's in order or not. So I got these old t-shirts that whenever I got rid of my old t-shirts, the ones that wouldn't donate, that were just in too bad a shape, I cut them up in little rag size pieces. Not as big as this paper, but some of them are kind of big as that paper to use for cleaning rags. Well, I stuffed them all in a Ziploc bag and shoved them up in my cleaning closet. I never get them down. They've been up there for, what, a year and a half, 2 years? I don't know. You know how time passes and you don't really know? Well, I decided to save on paper products. We would save on paper towels because we use a lot of paper towels. I mean, not a golly whopping bunch, but probably more than we should, more than we need. We just rip one off for the least little thing. So I thought, well, I'll put them in a basket and put that basket on my counter, and that's what we'll pop out and use because those little things take up no more water or space or soap or anything to throw in the wash with my kitchen laundry at all. We have hardly touched the paper towels. And I told David, I said, these are the basket. These are what we use. We use paper towels for things that are greasy. I don't really want to wipe up grease and wash that, because then I think it gets your clothes, your other towels and rags and stuff smell like grease and all that. I don't, in my mind it does, so I don't want to do that. Oh, they do that every time when they're going to go out. They make that horn, unless it's something that the car automatically does. Maybe it's one of them cars you can start from inside the house. I don't know. But anyway, it happens every time. It's kind of funny. So we've been grabbing the little t-shirt rags. That's frugal. Okay, now I've been saving all my plastic bags. The only plastic bags I saved before are Ziploc bags. If they've not been with meat in them or something greasy or something that you can't wash out, I wash them out, hang them up on my kitchen curtains, which I'm going to get me a rod. I used to have one. I don't have any extra ones, but they're the little skinny tension rods that you can hang curtains and stuff on between, like my two cabinets. We don't have permanent fixtures or hardware for our curtains, so I have my kitchen ones on spring tension rods in between my two cabinets over the sink. And I used to have one hanging up there to clip with a clothespin all my reused Ziploc bags, and then I think I needed it for something else, another curtain or something, so I don't have it. But I'm going to get one from Walmart. I need to put that in my grocery list. I'm going to get one from Walmart, and that way I'll have more room and it won't like be all over my curtain, and I can hang it better to drip better. So anyway, that's a frugal tip right there in itself. I'm saving all my plastic bags, bread bags, produce bags. That's the only two, like, food bags or something of that nature that I've saved other than Ziploc bags. For things like dirty diapers, because Holly, she'll get a dirty diaper, and I make her put it in a Ziploc bag, because they stink. And so she automatically gets a brand new Ziploc bag, and I'm like, you know what, there ain't no sense in doing that when we can tie it up in a bread bag or a produce bag, just tie a knot in here. Or I can use them for coating food, or I can use them for putting smelly trash in and tying it up, like maybe a styrofoam meat tray or something that's got the juice on it, the blood from the hamburger or whatever, and that'll keep it from smelling up the trash before it's time to take the trash out, because sometimes it'll get smelling so bad you'll take it out before it's full, and there you've wasted a garbage bag. Right. Then, okay, so y'all saw my weekend vlog. I bought bacon on sale, and it was cheaper than I can get at Walmart by $1 and something. And I bought hamburger on sale. So what I did, what I did for bacon, if I cook a whole pack of bacon, I would just take what I need for a recipe and put the rest in a bag and put it in the refrigerator. Well, usually what happens is it just gets eaten. To me, that's wasteful in the fact that you're just eating it to be eating it. You don't need it. So what I did when I cooked this package of bacon, I cut it up, cooked the whole thing. It was all crumbled. I got out what I needed for my recipe, and I divided the rest into 3 little baggies. What I do to save the expensive Ziploc bags, I have little things like that, is I'll put them in like the little thin sandwich bags and put those inside of a Ziploc bag. That way it gives it extra protection in the freezer. But I didn't grease up a bag that I can't reuse. So I did that. And then I bought the bacon on sale. I cut it in half, froze it in half pieces, wrapped it in 2 layers of plastic wrap, put that in the freezer. And then I bought hamburger. And Instead of dividing it out into 1 pound packages, I divided it into 3/4 pound packages. We used our first one for porcupine meatballs. Is that the first one they used? Yeah, first one I used. Well, yeah, porcupine meatballs last night. I couldn't tell the difference if there was a 1/4 pound missing. Could not tell a bit of difference. I used the same amount of rice that goes in it, everything. Couldn't tell the difference. They were delicious, let me tell you. They were just yummy. Well, that got me, I think it was 3 extra meals by just lopping off 1/4 pound. So that's a savings. 3 meals, I mean, to me, that's a big deal. Okay, I hung laundry to dry. Now, not my clothes, because I don't have anything big enough to hang my clothes on. Well, I mean, I can hang a few, but not all of them. So if I'm going to dry 4, I might as well dry 6. You know what I'm saying? But my kitchen laundry and my bathroom laundry, rags, dish rags, undies, socks, things like that, I can hang on. I have 2 of those wooden racks. I think now they make them in plastic or some kind of plastic coated metal or something, but mine are the old wooden racks that, you know, extend up and stand on the floor. I have 2 of those, and I hung that was my bathroom laundry, because when I finally did my kitchen laundry, it was before I started doing all this, and it was a big load. I just dried it, but that was before I started getting frugal. Well, I got it in, we'll talk about that at the end. I got to tell you about that in the chit chat part. Okay, you saw this on my blog too if you watched it. I made croutons from my stale buns. A lot of times we'll make garlic bread or just butter bread without garlic, you know, toasted, out of our old buns, or we'll eat sandwiches out of them, whatever. Well, these were stale. I had like some hot dog buns that were stale, and then some Dollar Tree hamburger buns that they were not fresh. I mean, we ate that for Sloppy Joe's, but they didn't hold up well. So I thought, well, I'm gonna cut them up too. So I made a huge pan of croutons. I shouldn't need croutons for however long they'll last. Which they're dried out, they'll last a long time. Now I'm sure they'll get stale. Croutons can get stale, you know, can lose their little bit of nice crunch that they got, but they're so easy to make. In case you didn't see that video, just cut your bread into cubes, put it on a big baking tray, spritz it with whatever you want to spritz it with. I use cooking spray. Season it however you want to season it. Squish it all around, you know, to distribute everything. Pop it in the oven for, like at 375, I think it was, for, I don't know, 5 minutes. Just watch it, stir it. When they're starting to brown, they'll finish setting up as they cool. So if you have some, now if they're still real soft, keep baking them and stirring them. But if you have one that's like just a little bit soft in the middle but hard on the outside, it will firm up. Okay, here's a big one. I had one reusable coffee pod, and I would use it every now and then, but I want my coffee, I want it, I'll just pop up a pod in there. Well, I ordered me a set of, they come in a set of 4 or more, but I thought 4 with the one I got, that's a plenty, because that way I can, that way I can make multiple cups of coffee before I have to wash them, because I'm here to tell you, I'm frugal, but I'm also, some things I don't want to bother with, and I know that I won't unless I fix it to where I will. So with one reusable pod, I was not going to go over there and wash it out, clean it, and bring it back for the next cup of coffee, because I'm just, I mean, I could teach myself to do it, but I wasn't. I mean, I'm just telling you that I wasn't. And I thought, well, by buying extras, I would be more apt, be more apt to use them, and I have been. Now, I still like a coffee pod, just because I like the coffee, and I like the convenience sometimes. Like if I'm tired. It doesn't take long to fill up a coffee pot. It really doesn't. But I'll still use my coffee pots, especially since I bought them. I'm going to use them. Now, what size will I buy after this? My nose is just, usually when your nose is, that means somebody's coming to see you. So I guess it's about time for David to get home. What size coffee will I buy in the future? Will I save money on that? I don't know. Because it's pretty cheap to get it at BJ's where I've been getting it. So anyway, I've been using reusable coffee pots. I can put that down every day, but I won't. Okay. Here's one that saved a lot of money. It was, Sunday, and I can't remember what we were supposed to have, but it hit a snag. Something happened, something came up. I didn't thought so. I honestly cannot remember what we were supposed to have or what happened that was going to prevent that from happening. 9 times out of 10, I would have thrown my hands up and said, it's the weekend. Even when it's the weekday, if something happens, I'll just throw my hands in and say, okay, well, I'll just get a pizza delivered. I didn't do it. I backed up, cut it, and put supper on the table. Saved like $50. That's a big one, because you can't go out to eat 2 people anymore. You can go get some chicken, but it's still close to $40 just for some Kentucky Fried Chicken. Anyway, I cooked supper. I was very proud of that. And then a meal plan. Let me put this over here so I don't get the wind on it. Oh, okay. Meal plan. That will be an every week thing because it has been for years and years and years. That's one of the most frugal things you can do is meal plan. Because you know what you're going to make. You're more apt to make it when you have all the ingredients that go into it. And you can make your grocery list based on what you need. Not on just a bunch of random stuff that you're hoping to find something that goes together in the rest of the week. And when the day comes and you can't think of nothing, let's just drive through. Let's go to Mickey D's. You can stop most of that from happening. Things do happen, and like there's been days that I've just been tired because I just have those days that I just said, oh, screw it, and order pizza. That's like, if I'm tired, I'm not going to go out and get something. I'm going to have it delivered, and that's the only thing we have delivered. We don't use DoorDash or Uber Eats or none of that stuff. We're scared to use it because you just see so many stories about them messing with your food, and then if you want to tip after, they say a lot of them won't even pick up your food order because they don't have to see a good tip on there. Well, who wants to tip before the service? So then I've heard of people sitting and waiting for hours on their food, and then they get food that's cold, they get food that they've eaten on. We don't do it. And then we're too cheap, we don't want to pay the tip. Now, we do tip on our pizza, we do tip. So if we use one of those other things, we would tip, but we're too cheap. Okay, that was all that is. Now, this was starting on Tuesday. I started using my little thing here. So I was making a recipe, and I needed lemon pepper. Well, the lemon pepper, because it doesn't have salt in it to like keep it more granulated, it clumps. I don't know if it draws moisture, even though it's got a cap on it. Have y'all found that to happen with your lemon pepper? That always happens to mine, and I very rarely even use it. But in the past, it would clump up. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I throw it away and buy some more every time. And this time, I'm like, you know what? I'm not throwing this away. It's 3/4 full. I'm gonna fix it. So I got me a butter knife, and I chopped to get them clumps of that lemon pepper out there, and I put it in my little mini food processor and ground it back up to make it almost granulated. And it shook right out of my container. I put it right back in my little spice bottle, and it shook right out onto my chicken. So I saved how much ever lemon pepper cost, because I've done that too many times to count, getting rid of it. I'm like, nope, not gonna do it. So I ground up my lemon pepper. Then, oh, I had a big day. This must be, oh no, this was not. This was just a big, yeah, this is my big shopping day. I didn't do that day, but why I wrote it down, I guess because it was sitting on the counter. I reused a jar that I had on hand that wasn't a canning jar for my gravy mix, my chicken gravy mix, which you'll see in my prep video, instead of one of my canning jars, because you have to pay for canning jars over and above what you have saved. And I have a bunch that over the years, even though I wasn't canning, when I would see them at a good deal at a thrift store, I would buy them because, y'all heard me say it on my haul, I'm like, you just don't leave good canning jars behind. You never know. Well, here's the year. Here's the year you never know is here. So I have a bunch of canning jars saved up. Well, I went through, and this was back before I started being frugal, but it's a frugal thing because you're saving jars that you can can in instead of having to buy more to replace those jars. So I kept a lot of my food things in canning jars. So I started saving my like spaghetti sauce jars and different jars like that to put those things in to free up a canning jar that would cost me money to replace. Use my coffee pods. This was a big one. I turned the water off while I was doing the dishes. 3/4 or more of our dishes are done in the dishwasher, but there's some things that are not really dirty enough to go in the dishwasher and take up space. You can just pretty much clean them out and then rinse them and you're done. Well, usually I'll do that, like wash them on one side and rinse on the other and just leave the water running. Well, I actually turned it off. Now David, he's another story. He's a creature of habit. That one I probably won't break from him, but if I can break it from me, that's at least that much. Okay, I saved the last banana, which was on its way out the door, and the last tortilla that would not have gotten used up for a peanut butter banana roll-up for breakfast that morning. To me, that's frugal because the banana would have gone bad, and I can't bake something every single time, and I don't want to have a freezer full of bananas that are never going to get used because I don't bake that many things that use mashed bananas. I don't make smoothies, and when I do, if I do, I don't typically like a frozen banana in it because that's all I taste is the banana. So to me, that was frugal. That saved the banana and that saved the tortilla. Okay, I bulk shopped at BJ's. I got bone-in chicken thighs for $1.39 a pound. So I got one pack at home that I didn't know was $1.39. It had a different sign up. So I'm like, even though it wasn't like a jaw-dropping price, it was cheap enough for me to buy a pack. And they come in 6 they're not really vacuum packed, they're just 6 individual packs stuck together and you have to cut them apart. And there's like, it said 3 to 4 thighs in each pack, and that's perfect for us. 3 is perfect. We'll deal with 4, but 3 is perfect. I got one, I got home, and I was doing my haul, and I opened up the bag, and I looked, I'm like, $1.39 a pound? I told David, I said, that, sign, I thought there was 2 something a pound. I didn't even look at the package, I just looked at the bottom line. Not trying to calculate nothing in my head. I didn't look at the pounds, the price, just the bottom line, how much it was. I'm like, we need more of that. He said, that's worth going back over there for. So I did, and I ended up getting 18 packs of bone-in chicken thighs for the freezer at $1.39 a pound. That's unheard of. I think when I went back, they had written, I see they had $1.29 sign for chicken wings, and I'm so stupid. I looked at them, and in the separate packs, I'm like, well, one pack of that's not big enough for me and David. Not thinking in my little pea brain that you could eat more than one pack, right? So I come home and I told him, I said, I'm going to get some of them chicken wings too. Well, they figured it out. I either missed out on mismarked chicken wings or they just put the wrong sign up because they were $2.69 a pound or $2.89 a pound. No, I'm not paying that. Now, they were for Purdue, and I come home, I looked it up. If you went Purdue per Purdue, they were a bargain. Over $2 a pound bargain. But we don't eat chicken wings that much, so I don't think spending the money up front to take up freezer room for chicken wings is the best use of my freezer or my money. We might eat chicken wings once every 2 months that I make, if that, because we just never think to put them on the menu. I guess if I had them in the freezer, I'd put them on the menu more often, but no more than we eat. We can buy those. And then I got some other food products that when I went through, I pulled up either Sam's or Walmart's, because Walmart's is usually your cheapest price if you're just buying something normally. And there's several things that I saved quite a bit of money on, and it's in my have I even showed you? I hadn't even done that video yet. That was Wednesday. I hadn't even done that video yet. It's for I don't know, some kind of video. So you'll see all that. And then, okay, at Wanda's I bought canning jars. I went for food storage containers for different things that I've got that I need to store. I was wanting some big, like, glass canning jars, the big 2-quart. She didn't have any. Sometimes she does. That's why I went to her place first. But she has some plastic containers that have worked out just fine. And I've already used all of them. Bought like 4 or 5 of them. I don't know. And I've used all of them but one. So I've done good on that. And no, I didn't use my little jar. But you'll see that on there too. But she was up there, she said, because we always talk, I talk about everything. She said, well, I got some canning jars in the basement. I said, you do? I said, how many? She said she had about 50. And I said, well, how much? She said, 50 cents. I said, oh. She said, I can go down there and count them. I said, okay, you do that and then come up here. She said she would count them, come up here, and I'd pay for them. And I could drive around back and get them, instead of lugging them up and down the basement, Well, she had 35 of them. So I got 35 canning jars. It was whatever half of 35 is, $17 and something for 35 canning jars. All quarts except for about 6 pints. And I use pints, so that's okay too. That is a far cry. I think the last time I checked, a 12-pack of canning jars at Walmart's was $18 and something. And here I got 35. So even I didn't go down in the basement. Here's you another frugal tip. It pays to just talk. Just like if you go somewhere like that, say, you wouldn't happen to have any canning jars, would you? Maybe they have some in the back that they just don't have anywhere on the floor to put them. There you go. And then I recorded my purchases. I have started a book where I'm recording my purchases. I'm writing down how much I spend on groceries. I'm writing down what I stocked up on and the price of it. So I know in the future, if it's much more, perhaps I could wait around and it would come back to that price. Maybe not in this economy, who knows? You have to get what you can get when you can get it. But then I kept a running total of what I have spent on groceries and how much of it was stocked up and how much of it was just for actual groceries, groceries. So that's a big one for me, is to keep a book of what we spend. I don't pay the bills, so I don't know nothing about them. I mean, I used to, but I don't know more. David handles all that. I don't fool with it. Okay, so then on Thursday, I divided my dry beans. Now, I like to have canned beans on hand for those moments when I'm like, oh, I need a quick side. I do like to have those. That's a convenience food that I will continue to have. Boy, when we get to the garden, we're going to have all kind of beans and peas in the freezer. But I'm still going to have my canned beans because it takes time to cook a dried bean or a frozen bean from fresh, that if I need something quick. And sometimes recipes call for a can of beans. You could still, back in the day, like my chili, use a can of beans or 2 cups of, I used to cook my own beans and freeze them, and that's what I would use. So, but what I did was, the dried beans I bought, I divided them. That way, and I reused my little bags. I put them in sandwich bags. Y'all saw my drawer. I have a bean drawer. So I consider buying dried beans and dividing them into meal-sized portions when you cook it frugal, because that is cheaper than canned beans. And a half a bag of dried beans is way more than you get in a bag of a can of beans. So while you can get a can of beans for 64 cents at Walmart's, and maybe well, I had to get my navy beans at Food Line, so they costed more because they're the only store I could find them at. Walmart's don't even have navy beans. What's up with that? So they costed more than a can of navy beans for 64 cents at Walmart's, but you get more. Okay, did meal prep. I haven't put that video up yet. That'll come up tomorrow. And I'll give you a hint right now. I bought no extra foods for my meal prep. None. I used up what I had at home. There's your tip. Meal plan around things you have at home. I had foods that if I didn't find a use for them were going to go bad. And if you're like me, you have thrown away your share of produce and foods that you just have a tail end of it and you don't have a use for it, and you just end up throwing away because it goes bad. I pulled those things together and made a meal prep out of it. No, that was not. Okay, for my meal prep, I made 2 homemade mixes, homemade rice-a-roni mix and homemade chicken gravy mix. And those were placed in a thrifted container and was that my last day? Oh, that's my last day. That was yesterday. So look, I get to start fresh today. Haven't done anything frugal yet. Haven't been up long enough. Gosh. There come a chilly breeze. And this coffee is cold. But that is all my frugal things for the past week. I think I had a good week. Now there's Chitchat. So yesterday, day before, in the later evening, there was a big thunderstorm that came through. We just barely got anything. But Holly, she got the brunt of it. I mean, she said it was bad. Well, they lost power. They had power all night. She said, Jacob, ever since he's been little, he's slept with a sound machine. You know, like brown noise or whatever, and that's how she's always made sure that he could sleep without outside noise interfering with him. Well, that's what he's used to. She said he kept waking up, couldn't sleep. So she said her and Nathan got their heads together and said they had little fans, I think he said from the Dollar Tree, that you put batteries in. So they put batteries in it, put it in there for that little bit of noise, and then he went to sleep. She said she changed batteries 2 times that night. See, what he does, instead of coming out, which she has a little latch at the top so he can't get out and like go out the door, plunger, or nothing like that. So when he gets up, or if he needs anything, he knocks on the door. And she goes. It's so funny, when I kept him and he woke up from his nap, boy, he knocked on that door hard. He was ready to get out. He knock, 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 knock. So she said he knocked on that door twice. I need new batteries. Because he's talking. You can't understand everything he says, but boy, he can talk. He will talk your head off. He said he needs new batteries. So she went over and changed them twice. But she got up next morning. Yesterday morning, she said, still don't have no power. She said, I need coffee and AC, which yesterday was a chilly day. She said she probably could have opened up the windows, but she wanted power and she wanted some coffee. And when she comes, I put the percolator on because me and her will sit there and drink coffee. So I went over and got the coffee on, and they come up. And Normally, he wants his mommy to go in there and play toys with him. Well, this time, he wanted me to go play toys with him. And all he wants you to do is sit there and watch him. And I told her, I said, I'm not doing anything. She said, no, he just likes you to watch him. I said, yeah. That was RJ. RJ just wanted you to watch him. Sebastian just wanted you to watch him. I guess, is it a little boy thing? I don't remember. Holly wanted you to play with her, like interact with her, play in store or school, come into her room to play store. She wanted to come play restaurant with you. But the boys want you to watch them. So I don't know. I think that's pretty interesting. So I said, I just sit there and watched him. So 3 times he went in there and I thought he was through. And I sit down. He come up and grabbed my hand. He said, come play toys. All right, let's go play toys. So we go in and play toys. Well, I had done a load of bathroom laundry. I told him, I said, well, my laundry's done. I said, I got to go down here and hang it up. Oh, I forgot to put that down on yesterday's. I hung up laundry. See, you can do things and not even think about writing them down. I said, you want to come help me hang up laundry? He said, yeah. So I said, well, come on. So we went down there, and he was grabbing rags, and he wasn't sure how to do it. I said, I'll tell you what. You do the socks on the lower rack. I said, you put all the socks down here, and I'll get the rags and the other things. And so he was cool with that. Well, he calls them ox. He has a hard time with the S. So his S words go with the next vowel, you know. So he calls them ox. And he would pick up one. And he said, ox? He would call it. Every time he picked one up, he would call what it was. It was an ox. So he hung up all my ox for me. And when he got through, he went there and told his mommy he hanged up ox. And he wanted her to look at him. Listen, it is never too early to get them to start helping you. And I find that both my kids were helper children. Kids like to help. They like to be involved. So don't be afraid. Don't think you're some kind of slave driver because you're having your kid help. They like it. They like to do stuff like that. So I hung up my laundry. And so he went over there. When they got here, though, that was afterwards. When they got here, she had stopped and got them breakfast because obviously she couldn't cook. She said, I need to get something because she's trying to save money too. She said, I need to get something that we could just eat that doesn't have to be cooked for these kind of times. And so she stopped, and he got out the car, and he was reaching in there. I said, oh, he don't want to leave you. He was reaching there to get the bag. And he looked at me, and he said, McDonald's. I said, oh, you got some McDonald's. Well, they messed up her order, but they give her an extra, some kind of biscuit she gave to her daddy. Chicken McGriddle, which I didn't even know they made such a thing for breakfast. It was a McGriddle, but with a piece of chicken on it instead of a sausage or a bacon. But she got him a breakfast burrito, and he was just holding it up and chomping on it like this. She said both sides, he was eating it in the car, both sides, he was just turning around and take a bite. But he wanted Papa's juice. So he got that. He drank Papa's juice, and he sat there, and I don't know, 30 seconds, a minute, I don't know. Time passed, and he was drinking and drinking and drinking. I said, he was thirsty. She said, well, I didn't water it down, so it's full force. He's used to drinking water down. She said, I can't afford juice if I don't water it down because he's a drinker. So he was really drinking up that flavored juice, and it was cran pineapple. It was the diet, you know, which the whatever it's flavored with, if it's not natural like stevia or something, I know that's not good for a kid, but no more than he gets, it's not going to hurt him. Coming up here once a week and drinking Papa's juice is not going to hurt him. So he was really enjoying that. And he had his fun dip, so he comes in there with his fun dip in his cup because he has to have that every time he's here. And what he'll do, he'll lick it like the first time with his stick, but then he just turns the cup up, and then he comes over there and wants my water because he gets a mouth. Ooh. Like something bit me. Might be skeeters because we didn't have no winter to speak of. But I've been seeing skeeters everywhere. he'll turn it up, and then he'll need my water. I always make sure I got fresh water for him when he comes, because he drinks my water out of my Appalachian water cup, because that's what I drink my water in. And he'll come over and give him a big old swig of water to wash it down with, because it's strong. But he keeps doing it. He does it every single time. So he ate, let's see, I bought him the Like Air snacks at BJ's. That's the one thing I bought that wasn't stock up, and I bought that for him. Sour cream and onion. He loved the pancake, and when I saw him, I said I was going to get him one. I thought it was the pancake flavor. Well, it's the sour cream and onion flavor. Well, I know he likes that flavor too. So I had some on the way home. They were delicious. Let me tell you, if you see them and you like air, those things are so good. They just melt in your mouth. So I ate some on the way home, and then I rolled them up because I knew I was going to keep eating them. But I had to taste them. Well, he come in. He had eaten on his burrito. He drank a whole bunch of juice. Then he went over there and he got under the blanket and pulled, just like he does at home. And like if he's watching one of his shows, Blippi or something, he'll get under the blanket and Holly will give him his snacks, and he'll sit there and eat his snacks watching TV. Well, he wasn't watching TV. He was talking to us and bawling on mommy. And so he was sitting there eating his puffed corn. And then when we went to the bedroom to play, he saw a little sleeve of Ritz crackers. He said he wanted crackers. I said, okay. So I opened them up, he ate a few crackers. And then he went over there and he saw the box, because, you know, I buy David those, which I don't know, I might have to stop there and buy just one bag of something. That's what he's going to have to eat all week with his sandwiches. He's used to his variety, but they're $10 for a box of like 18 snacks. And I don't know if we can do that anymore. I'll have to have a discussion with him. But Jacob reached up there, got the box and set it down, and he looked in there and he found a bag of Cheetos. He loves Cheetos. So he come up and said he wanted Cheetos. I said, okay. Then he went over there and got me a pack of peanut butter crackers to eat. So I would have something. How sweet is that? How sweet is that? So you know I ate them. Like I was going to turn down some peanut butter crackers. So then he had the Cheetos and he had the Fun Dip. So the boy gets what he wants at my house, just like Sebastian. Sebastian gets what he wants at my house. I don't know what he gets up yonder, and I can't control that, but I can control what he gets at my house. And if he wants it at Momo's house, then that's what he gets. So that was my yesterday. Today, and I prepped yesterday, even after Holly was here, and she got home, and it wasn't too long, and she had got power back in the early afternoon, I think. But after she left, and then David went to bed, I was just tired. I'm like, nope. And see, when I turn my heating pad on, and I get on it, because I live on the heating pad on my back, but when I get on that chair, and if I make the mistake of turning the heating pad on when I know I got things to do, I turn into a slug. Like this slug that has been crawling ever since we've been down here from that part of the rail. He's finally up to this part of the rail. I watched him. He was headed that way, and I watched him make the turn so slow. He done it while we've been sitting here talking, and he's made it that far back. He's leaning down to the side now. Listen, I could flick him off, but I'm gonna let him go wherever he wants to go. I ain't gonna mess his day. Oh, there goes a little spider down on the. Maybe he sees that spider. Maybe he wants to eat that spider. Oh, he's slowly moving. But that's what I turn into. I turn into a slug. That's what I told Holly the other day. I said, if I turn my heating pad on, I'm a slug. But I turned it off. I got up. I did my meal prep. I filmed it. I did my mixes. I cooked my supper. I watched the whole season of Criminal Minds Evolution to get ready for the new season that's coming on June the 6th. Coming up soon. Ooh, I can't wait. So I had to refresh myself. Me and Holly watched it while we were here. And then I missed some of it while I was in there with Jacob. And then I watched a little bit and have to do something. And then I paused it while I was cooking and prepping. And then I finished it. Because there's only 10 seasons. So all day, here and there, it didn't take much to watch it. So now I'm all caught up on that. But today, I think I'm just gonna sit back there and edit videos because I don't know, 2 other ones to get up besides this one, I think. I'm not really sure. Oh my gosh, that slug went down the side of the handrail. I guess he realized it was a drop off because it goes under and then down. He turned around, he's coming back up. I guess that's not the way he wanted to go. He didn't want to rappel down. So I'm trying to think. You've already heard about that. I went to BJ's and I went to Wanda's. I didn't have to go anywhere else to get food containers because I got enough for now at Wanda's. So I didn't have to, and I made, that was another frugal thing I did. I made it into one trip. I was going to BJ's, and so Wanda's, I went to hers first because she's on the way to BJ's. Or if I went to BJ's, I could come back around that way and come home. Either way, I go first. They're close enough together in Concord. Well, they're not close, but they're in Concord down the same direction to make it one trip. And then when I found what I needed at her place, I didn't have to go to the Goodwills. So that saved me some gas right there. Although I did spend gas to go back and get that second batch of chicken. That second batch of chicken saved me more than what little bit of gas I used. I'll tell you that right now. And David, he's driving my car to work, which is using some gas, but he's putting it in there, so that's okay. And they finally called him yesterday and told him what was wrong with his car. Thank goodness the oil leak is from what, because he had a code light come on, he pulled it, he knew what it was, but that's where the oil leak was coming from. So he's been spending a fortune keeping oil in it to get back and forth to work, that paying to get it fixed is going to save a ton of money in the long run. He just never got around to doing it. And so they called him yesterday finally and told him what was wrong with it, because they'll do that before they actually do the work. So he told me, he said, go ahead and do it. And she told him, she says, it's going to be a while. She said, because she's got 2 technicians out. He said, that's fine. He said, I got some other transportation, which is down because he's waiting on a part that hopefully will be delivered today. It's a pretty quick fix. It's just waiting on the part coming from California. He found it on eBay. Last one. And so hopefully that'll be here today. But in the meantime, he's been driving my car to work. Now here's the funny thing. I keep my music loud. I like loud music in a car. Every time we get in it, if I don't turn it down before I crank it, when I crank it and it comes on, he reaches over and turns it down. He can't stand it loud when we're driving somewhere. He can't stand it loud. But if I'm sitting out here on the porch when he comes in from work, I can hear what he's playing through the close-up windows. So I guess it's different when you're driving than when you're passengering. So anyway, I don't think I know nothing else. Oh, are those geese? Did you hear those? I think that's a dove cooing. No, those are, hold on, I think those are geese. There's a pond right down the road behind this lady's house. It could be coming from there. Listen, when I was going to Food Line the other day, I saw 2 of the biggest buzzards. You know when they're on the side of the road, you can't really tell how big they are. Well, there's a house that's got a fence around it. They got cows out in the fence, and well, they got the same fence kind of beside their house. Not necessarily, I guess maybe the cows are up in there. I guess they go over that part too. But when I went by, those 2 big old buzzards was sitting on the fence post. There was one on one and one on the other. They was just like big, beautiful black statues, just standing there as still as could be. And when I come back, there was one in the ditch and one on the side of the road. So there was something down there that they was munching on. But they, if you could ever say a buzzard looks good, they were very elegant doing their their pose. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something ugly. That's a vulture. Y'all ever seen a vulture in real life, other than a picture? Have y'all ever seen a vulture on the side of the road? Bless their hearts. They're ugly. They are ugly birds. But golly, between the buzzards and the vultures around here, they spot everything. They don't miss nothing. You see them on the side of the road all the time, because where we live, there's lots of wildlife, lots of squirrels. Poor little things, lots of squirrels. You pass skunks and possums, and I hate it, but it's part of life. I don't know what you're gonna do about it. Holly had, when I was down there, whatever day I went down there, Monday, maybe Tuesday, I don't know. I think it was Monday I went down there, and me and Jacob was outside. She was sending some stuff back to donate with me, and there was like a big toy that he didn't play with, but she says she can't take it with him looking because then he'll want it. So she put her coat over it and went and put it in my car. I said, well, you do that. I'll go out there and play with him in the yard. So we were out there, and a rabbit came so close to him before it realized he was out in the yard. Well, then it started hopping away, and he wanted to go chase the rabbit. So he was just walking just as slow as he could walk, and the bunny would hop a little bit, he would walk a little bit, and the bunny would hop a little bit. He got real close to it before it finally scampered away and went through the little fence of the neighbor's yard. While we were out there, we saw 3 different bunnies. Told Holly, I said, them's the little varmints that's going to eat us out of house and home when our garden comes up. So David says he's probably going to put up a chicken wire fence. So, because we got too much of an investment in tractor money, in time trying to get it in the ground, in plants and seeds, to keep letting the bunnies and the deers just eat it. And I'm going to tie my pie plates that I have in here. If he puts the fence up, I'm going to tie my pie plates on the fence to help keep the crows out of the corn. So there, I said that should work. And when the wind blows them, they clank on the fence. Maybe they'll keep the deers away, and maybe they won't try to jump it. You know, I would hate to have a deer caught up in there. That'd be terrible. We had a deer out here one time when they put them houses across the street. When I had my woods, I was outside, and there was a deer come across the road from the woods over into their yard, and that yard was fenced in from there to the end of the road to the last house. So I don't know where that deer went. I'm like, if he's going up in their backyard, he's going to get pinned in. And I don't know if he jumped the fence to go out on the other side, if he went down the yards trying to find a way out. I don't know what he did, but I thought, Lord have mercy. They keep putting up all that. Listen, in y'all's area, in y'all's neck of the woods, are they putting up townhomes and apartments everywhere you turn? If there's a plot of land, they're putting something on it. And I can't figure for the life of me where all these people's coming that's living in it. Where are they living now? Are they migrating from one apartment building to another one, and then there's an empty apartment building? I ain't passed no empty apartment buildings. All the apartment buildings I pass full of cars. So I don't know where the people's coming from. I don't know. So anyway, well, I ain't got nothing to talk about now. I guess we chit-chatted out. I'll see you. This is Friday, so I'll see you back for meal prep tomorrow. And then I got something else I was making. I can't remember what it was. That'll probably come up Sunday. Then I don't know when I'll see you after that. But I'll see you tomorrow for meal prep. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you have a good weekend. All right.